Well, hello there, Space Monkeys. Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden. So I wish every once in a while I could bring you guys some really good news. It would be nice. What does it feel like to do content and cover the news and actually cover something good the government's doing? I can't in my entire life really, because I've been involved in politics really since 2014, and even before that, all I caught was just what was on Fox or CNN. It always seemed like there's nothing but shit going on. And today is no different. It's really, really bad right now. We're going to go over a couple of stories just kind of in passing. But there is some good news, light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. I believe I have to admit I was wrong about something, you guys. I thought that Joe Biden would be a D-minus president. I thought that he'd be a very slight improvement over Trump. And for a while during the show, until we had a little bit of a track record of Biden, I said that he was just ever so slightly better than Trump. But if you noticed lately, I've been saying they're about the same. I was wrong. I underestimated how shitty Joe Biden was actually going to be. And he is definitely an F president, arguably worse than Trump at this point. We'll go over some reasons why. But there is some silver lining that comes with having a president this shitty. So, first and foremost, let's cover the news. Remember recently when all of those yuckos were doing cartwheels and celebrating when Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, and I was like, yo, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's going to keep, black ops in the country. There's likely to be, sanctions. We're not, leaving Afghanistan alone. We're still, going to drone strike and shit. This is not something to be celebrating about. And the military budget went up a lot after that. So I don't know why those people were doing cartwheels. Perhaps that's how Klinsky hurt his leg. I don't know. He even tweeted, "I'm a Biden bro now," right after that. God. It's been an embarrassing year for Klinsky. So the news story is we're sanctioning the living shit out of Afghanistan as we all expected, and now 55% of their population, or 9 million people, are food insecure and on the verge of a famine. Their medical system is also collapsing because of these sanctions, so it's not good. I will post the link below. You guys can have a read about it. But this is exactly why, a lot of us were not optimistic when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. It doesn't mean a goddamn thing if you don't, actually leave them alone, reduce your military budget accordingly, say you're not going to drone strike them anymore and don't sanction them. That's another thing. Has the U.S. ever revoked sanctions off of a country? I've been paying pretty good attention to politics for at least 4 years. I can't remember the last time we took sanctions off of anybody. We just add sanctions, which is economic warfare and causes tons of lives to be lost, onto countries that won't do what we want. And won't let us install a dictator or two, or revamp their economy, or come in and mine all of their ore or take some of their natural resources. We just sanction living shit out of everybody, and Joe Biden's no different. So we're now sanctioning them. Sanctions have been added to Cambodia since he's in office. We sanction living shit out of everybody. And meanwhile, there is some good news. AOC seems to be fighting in the Congress. She and Nancy Pelosi are having an argument now on whether or not the spouses of Congress people should be able to trade stocks. And AOC is like, I'm an activist, I'm a fighter, I think that I shouldn't be able to trade stocks, and our husbands should be able to trade stocks there, Nancy. And Nancy's going, well, that's ridiculous. I think that me and my husband should both be able to trade stocks. It's a free market. Don't you know that? So it's good to know that there's some reasonable conversation that'll be helping the average person in this country is going on between those people. So basically the story is the squad had 2 bills that they were looking to push. One of them banned the trading of stocks by congresspeople and their spouses. And they rejected that bill and instead went with the one that allows AOC's boyfriend or husband to trade stocks as much as he wants. Same with Pelosi's husband, who does insider trading. But they themselves, Congress people themselves, cannot trade stocks. So it's like, what? Could you do less? That's the dumbest conversation to be having in the world right now. So, I mean, there's no hope there as well. And for all the people that have been backing up Biden and the squad for this entire year, and you know who I'm talking about, the boutique left, they are all backpedaling hard because it's that bad. It's that bad. So don't forget who these people are. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I've been detailing them since the beginning of PFC, every step of the way, where they've been defending the squad and not speaking out on horrible things that Biden's done, and even boosting Biden. So, you know, it's the TYTs of the world, and even they can see what's going on. That's why they're backpedaling, and it's hilarious to watch him do that jank on Twitter right now. Holy fuck, is he backpedaling off the Democrats. But remember, he was one of those vote blue no matter who people. Well, push Joe left people. So we know who you are. We're never going to forget. This is on you. You insisted we put Biden in there. Just own it. So let's get to the actual silver lining here, guys. I thought that Biden would be a D- president, and therefore a lot of the country would go back to sleep, and it would be a presidency that wouldn't radicalize a bunch of people and wouldn't motivate people to hit the streets. But I think I'm wrong about that. I think that his flubbing of COVID, which he's absolutely done, he's MIA right now, and there's a whole bunch of new infections due to Omicron. He could give us Medicare for all. He could have given a public option. He could have, you know, at least if you wanted to just protect old people, at least lower the Medicare eligibility age so that all old people have universal health care. He didn't do that either. So his flubbing of COVID has been as bad, if not worse, than Trump. And that, among him cutting the child tax credit, which is something else I thought he would keep, along with him flubbing the Build Back Better bill. I thought that he would pass it, but it would be a gutted, horrible bill, but they didn't even pass that, so we didn't even get universal child care in this country. He has not delivered on one single promise, and it's been so bad that I think that there might actually be enough anger out there for there to be protests. That is not necessarily a bad thing to me. I was actually worried that Joe Biden would get in there and be just an ultra incrementalist, but he would give the masses just enough to keep them lulled to sleep, to keep them from snapping. And that worried me a lot too, because then we'd really get a whole lot of nothing done in 4 years. I mean, maybe you get universal child care and that's it. Or the converse, which is what they're doing now, which is giving everybody nothing. And you know what happens? You end up with protests like Black Lives Matter. When things get really bad, that's when people hit the streets. And they are getting really bad. And I think they know that this is coming because they're building a wall around the White House right now. I shit you not, guys. There is a wall built, a concrete wall built around the White House as we speak. Congress is on vacation. The masses are starving and having an Omicron wave hit them, scaring the shit out of everybody, and Biden's not doing a goddamn thing. That is a way to radicalize and motivate a whole hell of a lot of people. So, we might get lucky. We might actually get a lot of protesting and beyond. You know, if they don't give us what we want, if we protest for a while, there might be some riots, and that might be what they're expecting because they're putting the wall up around the White House. They have abandoned us. Your government has abandoned you. That is the state of things right now. Joe Biden has abandoned you. So, we might actually get some protests, and it sucks that it had to get this bad, but the American people, they'll take an ass whooping from their government, and they will exhaust every single nonviolent option to get them what they need before they turn to something like a violent revolution. But Joe Biden isn't giving anything along the way, and they're also, the oligarchs are proving that, like, you can't vote your way out. You know, they're also proving that every time you protest in large numbers, they sick the police on you. So that really doesn't seem like a viable option either. We have to do it, but they're making it harder and harder to protest in this country. They're making it harder and harder to speak your mind by attacking the First Amendment and trying to silence dissidents. So I I think that we're coming towards a fever pitch, and I did not expect that under Joe Biden. So let's hit the streets. You know, they're going to be back in Congress here pretty soon. We could get 1 million people to surround the White House and maybe we'd be able to scare them into doing something for us. I don't know. That's just me. So keep fighting that good fight out there, guys. I know it really sucks right now. I don't have any good news for you. The only good news, I suppose, is that the bad news is so abundant that possibly, just possibly, the American people might be on the brink of something big. That this might be the shitty-ass presidency that made us finally snap. That would be okay with me. That would be just fine. And I'd rather us, protest under Joe Biden than have to wait for Donald Trump to get in there in 2024, and then the whole country's a goddamn powder keg. And, it's only a matter of time until something crazy happens under Trump, and then what are we looking at? We're looking at total chaos. And even as somebody who is an agent of chaos, I don't really think I want to see that. I'd much rather the government be scared into actually giving us some things instead of it just, the whole country catching a fire. I don't know about you guys. But we'll just have to see. How far are the elites willing to push us? How far are they willing to make us exhaust nonviolent options? I mean, you can only, abandon a population in the middle of, let's say, a pandemic when a lot of people are in poverty, food insecure, getting kicked out of their homes, losing their health care because they can't keep a job because you are trying to mandate that they get vaccinated to keep said job. I mean, how much more abandoned do we have to get before we revolt? How far are they going to push us? I don't know. I'm just ranting and raving like usual. So congratulations to all those people out there that were telling us to vote blue no matter who, and we'll push Joe Biden left, man. It took them exactly like a year to be like, oh, fuck, that was a bad take. Oh, shit. And backpedal like crazy. No, we know who you are. You've been exposed. We know who the Biden defenders and the squad suckers are. I've cataloged it on this show. And you will be branded with the Scarlet A for asshole for the rest of your life unless you come out and apologize, and most importantly, you have to come out and say on your show that you and none of your viewers should donate to the squad or Democrats or vote for them ever again. Those are the terms. If you don't say that on your show and if you don't apologize, it doesn't count. That's what you have to do. You have to get everybody that watches your show to divest from the Democratic Party. Them's the rules. Anyway, for all of you normies out there that are really having it rough like me, I want you to keep fighting the good fight. Take care of each other. This is going to be a time where mutual aid is going to be very, very important, and we must build mutual aid and direct action apparati because Biden is not going to save us. We're not going to be helped at all. So we have to help each other. Mutual aid, direct action. That's where we have to do it right now. So we got to protest as hard as ever, harder than ever. I want you guys to get as many people as you can to go with you when you go to these things. I want huge numbers of people hitting the streets if we can. And, don't let each other fall into despair. And don't let anybody lose hope. Because just because there's no hope in electoral politics does not mean there's not any hope for a revolution. There is hope for a revolution. Just, you got to reframe a little bit. So, love each other, and I love you guys. Keep fighting that good fight. I'll talk to you later.